best players on the floor. Obviously, Luka can light it up and be prolific offensively, but the one thing you always challenge about him is what he does on the defensive side of the ball. This guy wasn't shooting the ball well, but still impacted the game. So I think as it relates to, look, Steph is still in this whole thing. We still got Jason Tatum, who I think is actually one of the most disrespected players in the game of basketball. By the way, his name is not really ever put in the conversation for it being his league, by the way. So I'm not going to say it's Ant's league, but he's up there. He's up there with the Jason Tatums and the next iteration of players.
It's not Ant Edwards' league until he wins the West. He doesn't even necessarily have to win the championship, but he got to win the West.
You don't have to win the championship?
Not really, not yet, because, again, Steph is Steph, LeBron is LeBron, and we're certainly not elevating him above them as of yet in terms of cachet, but the cachet has elevated exponentially. There is no denying that. The flip side to it is who is the definitive individual that you're pointing to. I agree with you about Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum deserves so much more love than he receives. This brother's special. There's no doubt about it. But Steve Kerr didn't help Jason Tatum, I'll tell you that much. But that's a different subject for another day. In the end, what I'm thinking about with Ant-Man, the brother's box office. And the more you see him, the more you want to see him. But still in all, if you don't have the championship, they're not going to give it to you. But if you come out of the West, a West that includes LeBron and Steph and SGA and Jokic, and you're the guy that come out of the West, and oh, by the way, en route to coming out of the West, you beat all those people, that would be different. Now, if you didn't face them, Jay, that would be different. But if you faced them, I mean, he's already beat KD, sent KD home, sent Booker home, swept them, okay, took Jokic, Game 7 on his home court in Denver, took him out.
Oh, he has the pelts.
Okay, and then now you take LeBron and Luka together out, and then, oh, wait, who they got next? Who they got next? Golden State. You beat Golden State, and then OKC gets to the conference finals, and you take out SGA? Oh, yes, we got to look at it differently then. He take out that body of work.
That's a question.
The bodies that fall by the wayside, I can't ignore that.
You talk every day about who's the number one show on sports TV? Number one, not number two.
Molly's show.
Number one, not number two.
In the morning. Great, fair.
That's great.
They're number one.
All I want to say is how many times Jason Tatum has been to the Eastern Conference Finals. How many times Jason Tatum has been to the NBA Finals. Brother can win multiple championships, and we just gonna give it to Ant because he has a personality.
No,
and he has to come out of the Wait. And he has to come out of the West. He has to come out.
It's that mentality that he wants people at their best.
I get it. Jason Tatum doesn't want people at their best.
But there's a difference.
Jason Tatum is phenomenal too. I'm with you that he's one of the faces. I think people just are gravitate a little more to Ant's personality. Jason's a little more like.
But he said all he has to do is come out of the West, and it's going to be his league.
But because all the things that come with it, in addition to that, I also think Jason Tatum's a face of the league. I don't understand that either.
He's a face. I didn't mean to imply that.
No. I hear you.
I didn't mean to imply that. I love Jason Tatum.
Jay, you have to admit that Ant's got a little bit of like an edge in the personality.
That he shows. I think Jason Tatum has a lot of edge too, but maybe doesn't show the public.
Exactly.
Well, it's easier for everybody to understand the edge that Ant-Man plays with when you got the image of Game 4 with him pushing LeBron James down the court when LeBron James is coming on offense. Like you see that, and I think that head-to-head, that optic is what kind of draws people in when it comes to Anthony Edwards trying to be a dog, trying to will his team to be able to compete at the championship level.
Okay, here's the good news. I cut you off, but we have a whole lot more to say, and we've got about an hour 40 left, so we got plenty of time to do it. Let me get a quick commercial break.
Perk, I want to start with you just because we keep pointing that out. And people will just say things sometimes. So here's the question I'm going to ask you. If someone says to you today, because they will, because they're saying it to me like crazy in texts and on Twitter, oh, this is why the Mavericks made this trade. This is what Nico Harrison saw. The Mavericks did the right thing by unloading Luka when they did. What are you going to say back to them?
I'm going to say you're right. And we all saw it last year in the NBA Finals. We saw the Boston Celtics expose Luka. And then all of a sudden, when you think getting done the way Luka got done in the NBA Finals, he will come back in better shape. He will come back better defensively. And Nico Harrison said, you know what? Nah, I can't deal with it. I know From being around Kobe Bryant, from being around Kyrie Irving, from being around LeBron James, what work and what it looks like to go and win a championship. And I can't bank on this guy to help me deliver because I need a guy to play both ends of the floor. That is not Luka Doncic. J.J. Redick literally to protect Luka, and they still found a way to attack zone to protect Luka, and the Minnesota.
Okay, we're obviously having some trouble there.
Listen,
Let's put it on hold for just a second there. Just put it on hold, Cindy, and we'll try and get that better here. Let me go back to Michael Wilbon here, because Jay Will asked an interesting question, which is, have we ever seen a superstar? Michael, there's no one who has greater perspective on the history of the game. Have we ever seen a superstar who was this level of liability on the other end? Certainly, there have been all-time greats who were not great defenders.
Right.
But this level of liability, what does it mean?
Well, there was a time, and I'm going to point out a couple of players who we think of as offensive players because they are. One of them, to me, now is one of the 10 greatest players of all time, Steph Curry. Who later, in his older years, has gotten better defensively. Just straight up. I mean, Steph Curry he might have been a minus defender, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 8 years ago. Look at Steph Curry now. Just look at the clips that we see. I mean, and I'm sitting there courtside. Jay Will, am I okay on this? I mean, Steph got better. James Harden was a straight-up liability. James Harden was targeted. Now they ask James to do things that they never would have asked when he was 25 years old and he's closer to 35. So we've seen offensive gurus, all-timers, just say, okay, I'm not having this. I'm getting better, whether it's through personal pride, obviously there's help, coaching, peer pressure, legacy, concern, all of it, just competitiveness. Luka better, he's got to get there. Because what you're saying is, and again, I could not have pulled the trigger, Greeny. I could not have pulled the trigger on the trade, Luka, but we know why. They're saying I don't want to give $350 million to a guy who's going to play one end of the court. No, the great players. When we see Kawhi Leonard, one of the reasons that Kawhi, who's been dragging a leg around for the better part of 6 seasons, Kawhi right now is Kawhi Leonard again. Look what he can do both ways with all the injuries he's had as he gets in his early moving toward mid-30s. So that's the impact you can have when you do it both. And we ain't going to even mention, we're not going to get to Jordan. We're not even putting that on the table, okay? But I'm talking about players who just have to commit. Luka has to do this. Will there be influence? Is that part of LeBron's influence? I don't even want to put that on LeBron, but that LeBron's that great. He's that great a teammate. He's that great an influence. What is going to move Luka toward that commitment? Got to get there.
So, look, I have known Nico since I've been 14 years old. Similar.
Chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh YouTube của mình. Lại là mình đây. Video ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục đi tô màu để cho các bạn cùng xem. Và ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tô màu những sản phẩm, đó là những con vật, đó là những đồ vật. Đấy, hoặc